The time by Kari Chris is 6 p.m. Time for CBX Business News. The Business News headlines is brought to you by CBX Wealth Management, making more possible.
A new JSE listing, a race to save CBI revenue, and Wall Street bets on tariff paybacks. Good evening and welcome to CBX Business News for Tuesday, December 23, 2025. I'm Rochelle Moncrief. Thanks for joining us. Coming up in the newscast locally, Jamaica gets a new listing on the stock exchange as West Indies Petroleum Terminal officially goes public, signaling a shift in energy-focused investing. On the regional front, the Eastern Caribbean scrambles to protect CBI revenue as a tightening visa timeline threatens a key foreign exchange stream. And over on the global stage, Wall Street places big bets on a Trump-era tariff refund boom as investors position for potential paybacks. Stay tuned as we unpack these stories and more right after the break.
Wealth is not simply counted in dollars or cents, but in the time we spend with love, in love, giving love. Wealth is not simply a means to an end. It is the means to live out loud. Wealth is more than money. It's about family, the memories you create, the legacy you leave behind, and your ability to enjoy life in the moment. It's also about seeing the QMAX possibilities and seizing investment opportunities to achieve the future you want and deserve. Which is why QMAX Wealth will focus on your investments so you can experience more. Because true wealth is truly more. To start investing today, call 876-926-7767.
If it were not for the Jamaica Stock Exchange listing, Phosphate Company Limited would not be where it's at today. I called them, they listened to my concerns and my fears, and they gave me the answers. All the fears I had about banks, about losing control, you are having them. And I tell you, they were dissipated when I spoke to the Jamaica Stock Exchange. This is one of the best decisions I have ever made in business. If you want to change the trajectory of your business and to grow, make that call today to the Jamaica Stock Exchange. You will be glad you did.
Introducing the Corporate Services Unit, your go-to experts for corporate secretarial solutions. We offer statutory compliance, efficient minute taking, registered office address services, management of board and members meetings, setup and maintenance of corporate registers. Stay ahead with our proactive approach to new regulations. We operate under the Trust and Corporate Service Provider, licensed to the JCSB Trustee Services Limited. We're here to simplify your corporate journey, no matter the size of your company. Contact the Corporate Service Unit today and let's streamline your compliance journey together because your success is our business.
Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances Limited has been a part of Jamaica's manufacturing landscape for over 20 years. By crafting unique flavors and fragrances, we have become a part of your favorite household and food items such as beverages, ice cream, household cleaners, and much more. Known throughout the Caribbean for the highest quality, we continue to innovate with strong leadership, a dedicated team with integrity. We go the extra mile for our customers. Create the next taste sensation. Contact us at 876-9235-111 or visit our website, Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn pages.
Caribbean Dreams Instant Turmeric Tea. What you put in is what you get out. What you put in is what you get out. Yeah. Build up your body, boost up your brain. Take on the world now. Say bye-bye pain. Caribbean Dreams Instant Turmeric Tea. Be good to you. Caribbean Dreams Instant Turmeric Tea. Distributed by Amalgamated Distributors Limited.
Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances. It started out as a small family-owned business, and now we're a part of a large group of companies. Being listed on the stock exchange allows us a certain prestige. It also speaks to accountability and transparency. We had some fears about getting our information in the public domain, but once we contacted the Jamaica Stock Exchange, who have the knowledge and the experience to guide us, we were comfortable with getting into the process. If you have any doubts about being listed, just give the Jamaica Stock Exchange a call. They'll be very happy to take you through the process and also provide you with information that you may need. Make that call now.
The local news is brought to you by Darriman Trading, better from the start. Development Bank of Jamaica, facilitating economic growth and development. Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances, tease the senses. And Pulse Investments.
Welcome back to CBX Business News. We begin with a JSE debut that turns fuel infrastructure into a public investment opportunity. Jamaica's energy infrastructure has officially entered the public market. In a landmark move for the local capital markets, West Indies Petroleum Terminal Limited, WIP Terminal, has been listed on the main market of the Jamaica Stock Exchange, JSE, marking one of the most strategically significant listings in recent years. The fuel infrastructure company listed approximately 11.18 billion ordinary shares at 50 cents each, valuing at approximately 5.59 billion Jamaican dollars. Speaking during the listing ceremony at the JSE headquarters earlier today, WIP Terminal Chairman Charles Chambers says this listing marks an unprecedented move for the local market, where no comparable infrastructure asset is currently trading.
Today marks a milestone for Jamaica. The listing of West Indies Petroleum Terminal on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. This is significant because there are no comparable assets trading on this exchange. And so this is a moment of great pride for us at WIP Terminal as we bring to the public market an asset that serves a nationally important function for our country.
He says WIP Terminal is the largest independent fuel terminal of its kind in Jamaica, with storage capacity exceeding 750,000 barrels.
As the largest independent strategic asset of its kind, WIP Terminal, with our combined storage capacity exceeding 750,000 barrels, is more than just a commercial asset. It is a nationally important infrastructure for Jamaica.
That was Chairman of West Indies Petroleum Terminal, Charles Chambers. The Jamaica Stock Exchange, JSE, has crossed another milestone, expanding to 105 listed companies and 161 listed securities following the main market listing of West Indies Petroleum Terminal, WIP Terminal. At today's listing ceremony, JSE CEO Livingston Morrison says this latest addition underscores steady market growth and reinforces investor confidence in the JSE as a platform built on transparency, governance, and long-term value creation.
Today's listing represents an important milestone, not only for West Indies Petroleum and its shareholders, but also for the capital market as a whole. With the addition of West Indies Petroleum, investment options have increased to 105 listed companies and 161 listed securities. Steady expansion of our market reflects continued confidence in the exchange as a trusted platform for growth, transparency, and long-term value creation. West Indies Petroleum enters the market with 105 shareholders, and we're pleased to officially welcome the company to the JSE main market.
WIP Terminal entered the exchange by way of introduction, a listing structure that does not involve a new capital raising or the issuance of additional shares.
West Indies Petroleum Terminal Limited has evolved through strategic planning and a regional focus. Ladies and gentlemen, the listing of West Indies Petroleum Terminal Limited strengthens the exchange's representation of the energy and infrastructure sector on our markets. It also reinforces the JSE role as a catalyst for regional companies seeking higher levels of transparency, governance excellence, and access to orderly secondary market.
That was CEO of the Jamaica Stock Exchange, Livingston Morrison. Jamaica has scored a major global vote of confidence. Moody's Ratings has upgraded the government of Jamaica's long-term credit rating to Ba3, lifting the country deeper into the sub-investment grade ladder and locking in a stable outlook. The upgrade is not about short-term momentum. It's a verdict on discipline. Moody's points to a decade of consistent fiscal rules, strong policy credibility, and a dramatic reduction in public debt, nearly 40 percentage points of GDP since 2020, one of the fastest improvements among similarly rated countries. Crucially, the agency says even the heavy blow from Hurricane Melissa has not derailed Jamaica's medium-term trajectory. Instead, strong institutions, disaster risk financing, and US $6.7 billion in multilateral support have helped cushion the shock without undermining debt sustainability. Moody's also upgraded government-backed debt linked to Air Jamaica Limited, reflecting the strength of state guarantees, while raising Jamaica's local and foreign currency ceilings. We move now to the latest policy update from the country's central bank. Hurricane Melissa has punched a historic hole in Jamaica's economy, and the Bank of Jamaica BOJ is warning that higher inflation is now unavoidable. The central bank says damage from the storm has been revised sharply higher to US $8.8 billion, equivalent to more than 40% of GDP. That destruction, BOJ warns, is now setting the stage for a sharp rise in inflation, already running at 4.4% in November. Speaking during the bank's quarterly press briefing on Monday, Governor Richard Biles says inflation is expected to break above the 4 to 6% target range in early 2026.
Will rise sharply over the next few months from the 4.4% recorded in November of this year and will exceed the bank's inflation target range of 4 to 6% by early 2026. This rise primarily reflects the hurricane's impact on major food-producing parishes and disruptions to supply chains, particularly in energy and agriculture. These supply-side shocks lie outside the direct influence of monetary policy and therefore cannot be addressed through interest rate actions, but will have a knock-on effect on other prices.
He says it is this inflation risk that drove the Monetary Policy Committee to hold the policy rate at 5.75%.
It is in this context, and given the bank's primary mandate of managing inflation, that the MPC decided unanimously to 1. Continue holding the policy rate at 5.75% per annum, and 2. Remain proactive in preserving relative stability in the foreign exchange market.
That was Governor for the Bank of Jamaica, Richard Biles. We move to the latest updates from the JSE equities. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 110 stocks, of which 48 advanced, 48 declined, and 14 traded firm. Leading the winners are Main Event Entertainment Group, Jamaica Public Service Company Limited 7%, Cygnus Credit Investments 10.50% preference shares due 2025 Class C, and Kingston Wharves. While leading the losers are Productive Business Solution Limited USD Ordinary Shares, ISP Finance Services, Sagicor Real Estate X Fund, and Mailpack Group. The main index advanced by 2,108.73 points, or 0.68%, to close at 312,972.62 points. The junior market index also advanced, but by 14.95 points, or 0.45%, to close at 3,308.45 points.
The market education feature was brought to you by Caricris, Regional Ratings, Global Standards.
In today's market education feature, we'll be discussing interactive voice response. Interactive Voice Response, IVR, is an automated phone system that lets customers navigate voice menus and respond using speech or keypad inputs. When someone calls a company's customer service line, they're greeted with a recorded message prompting them to select options such as language or department. Based on their choices, the IVR either routes the caller to the right agent or enables them to complete certain tasks on their own. By integrating computing with telephony, IVR solutions help shorten call center wait times, streamline service operations, and enhance overall customer satisfaction.
The market education feature was brought to you by Caricris, Regional Ratings, Global Standards.
That's it for the local news segment. Please stay with us. The regional news is up next.
The local news is brought to you by Derriman Trading, better from the start. Development Bank of Jamaica, facilitating economic growth and development. Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances, tease the senses. And Pulse Investments.
If it were not for the Jamaica Stock Exchange listing, Phosphate Company Limited would not be where it's at today. I called them, they listened to my concerns and my fears, and they gave me the answers. All the fears I had about banks, about losing control, you are having them. And I tell you, they were dissipated when I spoke to the Jamaica Stock Exchange. This is one of the best decisions I have ever made in business. If you want to change the trajectory of your business and to grow, make that call today to the Jamaica Stock Exchange. You will be glad you did.
Are so much book you need for high school?
I'll show you how to make sure you have all the money for my books and even some extra. It's called budgeting, Dad. Making a budget is the most important thing you can do to track your money. It keeps a record of how much you make, how much you spend, where you spend it, and most importantly, how much you can save. Write down all your income, write down all your expenses, see where you can cut down and allot more money to more important things, like saving.
Welcome back. And now for the regional business news. The Eastern Caribbean is operating inside a narrow, high-stakes window to protect one of its most critical revenue streams. The Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, OECS, is now moving to prove the credibility of its Citizenship by Investment, CBI programs, or risk visa restrictions that could choke investment and undermine fiscal stability. That urgency follows Washington's decision to pause planned visa suspensions targeting Antigua and Barbuda and Dominica after U.S. officials flagged concerns over screening vulnerabilities linked to citizenship without residency. The pause, secured after high-level talks with the United States, is temporary, giving the region limited time to demonstrate tougher governance. In its latest review, the OECS says member states have already taken significant solutions-oriented steps to shore up their programs. These include strengthened due diligence systems, enhanced information sharing among states, higher eligibility thresholds, and accelerated work towards a regional independent CBI regulator designed to standardize oversight and boost transparency across the bloc. U.S. authorities have warned that weaknesses in screening could trigger restrictions on key visa categories. While those measures are now on hold, officials have made clear that the pause hinges on verifiable reforms, not promises, placing pressure on governments to deliver quickly. The OECS is urging Washington to address security concerns through structured partnership rather than unilateral action, warning that sudden visa restrictions could destabilize public finances, deter foreign capital, and ripple through already fragile economies. Still in regional news, Barbados' Finance Minister Ryan Strawn is calling for a stronger, more regionally focused insurance industry, warning that growth must be backed by greater resilience and cross-border reach. Speaking recently at the Coral Anniversary celebrations for Cooperatives General Insurance, Strawn urged policymakers and industry leaders to take more deliberate steps to future-proof the sector, particularly in the face of climate shocks and rising regional risk.
We in the government, we have been advocating with respect to being able to build greater resilience against the climatic events which are becoming more and more intense. And we have to face the reality that there are many properties in Florida as well as in California because of these circumstances, have been removed from the insurance pool.
That was Barbados' Minister of Finance, Ryan Strawn. And finally, Anguilla is deliberately shifting from volume tourism to high-yield controlled growth, and investors are responding. The island is leveraging new airlift and targeted U.S. and European marketing to drive premium visitor demand. Investments are also flowing into luxury hotels, marine tourism, and mixed-use projects under strict economic and environmental due diligence. Speaking during a press conference on Monday, Tourism Minister Cardigan Connor says curated cruise and yacht calls are lifting day visitor spending for small businesses, even as growth is carefully managed to protect brand value and returns.
Government maintains a balanced approach, encouraging investment while ensuring that environmental protection is in place, proper planning oversight, meaningful economic benefits for Anguillians. Ongoing engagement with investors ensures alignment with national development priorities. Regarding the cruise and day visitor segment, select cruise and yachting calls continue to generate measured growth in day visitor activity, benefiting taxi operators, tour providers, restaurants, and small businesses. Expansion in this segment remains carefully managed to align with Anguilla's tourism brand and visitor experience. Regarding community and sustainability focus, tourism is guided by principles of sustainability, resilience, and community inclusion. Continued focus on A, protecting Anguilla's natural and cultural assets, B, supporting small businesses and entrepreneurs, and C, expanding training and employment opportunities for Anguillians.
That was Anguilla's Tourism Minister, Cardigan Connor. It's now time for news from the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 25 securities, of which 11 advanced, 2 declined, and 12 traded firm. Leading today's winners are Trinidad Cement, Scotiabank Trinidad and Tobago, Unilever Caribbean, and CIBC Caribbean Bank, while today's losers are National Enterprises and Agostini. Trading activity resulted in the following movements of the TTSE indices. The All TNT Index advanced by 8.15 points or 0.60% to close at 1,371.74. The Composite Index also advanced, but by 5.80 points or 0.62% to close at 947.87. The Cross-Listed Index also advanced by 0.46 points or 0.67% to close at 69.17. The SME Index remained at 94.24. And we take a short break, but please do stay with us. The international news segment is up next.
I'm trading stocks to achieve my financial goals.
I'm also trading stocks to achieve my financial goals.
Start a conversation with the Jamaica Stock Exchange.
Check jamstockx.com for information and a list of registered stockbrokers. You can also call the Jamaica Stock Exchange at 876-967-3271 for information on how to begin. I am achieving my financial goals.
I'm achieving my financial goals.
Welcome back. In international news, As the U.S. Supreme Court weighs a legal challenge to President Donald Trump's sweeping emergency tariffs, some American companies are already cashing out by selling their potential tariff refunds to hedge funds. Atlanta-based Kids 2, which makes most of its toys and infant products in China, sold its rights to collect future refunds in exchange for immediate cash. The company received about $2 million on roughly $15 million in tariffs paid. Guaranteed money regardless of how the court rules. Under these deals, investors collect the full refund if the tariffs are overturned. If the court upholds the duties, the hedge funds lose their bet, while companies keep the upfront cash. The White House says overturning the tariffs would be an economic disaster, but legal uncertainty has already created a new Wall Street market where trade policy, litigation risk, and cash flow are being priced in real time. And while tariffs are being traded like financial assets, Washington is also recalibrating its broader tech war with China. The Trump administration says it will impose tariffs on Chinese semiconductor imports, but not until June 2027, keeping the tariff rate at zero for the next 18 months. The decision follows a year-long U.S. trade investigation that found China engaged in unfair practices aimed at dominating the global chip industry, particularly in older generation or legacy semiconductors. Officials say the delay preserves U.S. leverage while avoiding an escalation in trade tensions, especially as talks continue over China's control of rare earth exports critical to global technology supply chains. The tariff rate will be announced at least 30 days in advance, giving companies time to adjust. The measures are separate from any national security tariffs that could still be imposed later. As governments fine-tune trade pressure, investors are responding to uncertainty in a more familiar way. Gold and silver are surging to record highs as investors retreat from riskier assets and seek protection from economic and geopolitical uncertainty. Gold futures climbed above $4,500 an ounce, briefly touching a new record, while silver surged past $70 an ounce for the first time. Analysts point to fears of an overheated equity market, rising global debt, and uncertainty over future U.S. monetary leadership as key drivers of the rally. One market strategist says gold could still have room to run, potentially towards $6,000 an ounce, as investors look for assets that can defend against currency debasement. Meanwhile, in Europe, the story on the ground is one of steady but shifting consumer demand. New car sales across Europe rose in November for a fifth consecutive month, driven largely by a surge in electric vehicle registrations. Data from the European Auto Lobby, ACEA, shows battery electric vehicles now account for 21% of EU sales, rising to 26% in the UK and nearly 100% in Norway. Overall sales across the EU, Britain, and the EFTA bloc climbed 2.4% to 1.1 million vehicles, with gains at Volkswagen and Renault offsetting weaker performance at Stellantis. Tesla registrations fell nearly 12%, while China's BYD posted triple-digit growth, highlighting intensifying competition just as European policymakers soften earlier plans for a full combustion engine phase-out. Despite regulatory uncertainty, analysts say the direction is clear. Electric vehicles are becoming the dominant force in Europe's auto market. And that's it for the international segment of the newscast. The news recap is coming up on the other side of the break.
Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances Limited has been a part of Jamaica's manufacturing landscape for over 20 years. By crafting unique flavors and fragrances, we have become a part of your favorite household and food items such as beverages, ice cream, household cleaners, and much more. Known throughout the Caribbean for the highest quality, we continue to innovate with strong leadership, a dedicated team with integrity. We go the extra mile for our customers. Create the next taste sensation. Contact us at 876-9235-111 or visit our website, Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn pages.
And now to recap our top stories. In the local news, WIP Terminal officially lists on the JSE, signaling a shift in energy investing. Regionally, Eastern Caribbean races to save CBI revenue as visa clock ticks. And internationally, Wall Street bets on Trump tariff refund, market boom bills. Those were the stories making today's CBX Evening News. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Rachelle Moncrief. Thanks for watching CBX, your region, your business, your source.